If you're in the same age bracket as me, which according to my YouTube analytics, you more than likely are, this video's probably going to speak to you on so many levels we're going to have to call it the new millennial state building. However, before I can get my architectural draft approved, there's a cantankerous little gremlin monkeying up the works that I need to get sorted out first. On the one hand, ever since in the wake of my last shinobi-related video, someone pointed me to Gaijin Goomba's which ninja series, historical ninjas and the modern implications thereof have become my newest hyperfixation. But on the other, if you grew up on the same Western conception of ninjas as I did, which if you're watching this video in English you probably did, the image you have in mind when I say the word is likely a spiritual marriage of Splinter Cell and Assassin's Creed. And for as much fun as it would be for about the first 10 seconds, I very much doubt YouTube would appreciate me publishing a tutorial on how to assassinate people, commit espionage, build and deploy smoke bombs, or otherwise engage in miscreant behavior such as the nigh-mythical Black Air Force was known to have done back in their day. However, I think I've come up with a way for me to not only indulge my creative impulses, but also to take off two heads with one swing. Again, if you're between the ages of 18 and 34, you don't need me to tell you the world's not in a good place right now. And you also don't need to be Nostradamus to see that, barring divine intervention or an alien invasion, it's likely not going to get any better anytime soon. Which means that, for all of us, ninja skills are probably going to be more in demand in the not-so-distant future than they've been in almost 400 years. Which, as I alluded to a minute ago, doesn't just include the arts of a stabby-stabby variety. I mentioned offhandedly in the last ninja video how the word ninja is a combination of the words nin and ja, which, together in their kanji forms, represent the idea of a heart under a blade, signifying the necessary danger a shinobi operative works under when on a mission. However, ja means man or person, and nin means patience or endurance. And this is what the essence of the ninja is: perseverance. It's an ethos that's been a staple of every remarkable warrior group throughout history, and remains prominent in special operations forces through to this day. The drive to complete their mission, to serve and to bring honor upon their clan, their king, their country, their ancestors, etc., at whatever the cost. For those of you who are no doubt screaming at your screens about the shinobi no mono aspect of ninja-ing, as far as I understand it, the word ninja refers to their overall conceptual essence, while shinobi no mono describes a more specific activity of theirs. It's like the difference between being called a barber versus a cutter of hair, or referring to a hunter as a finder of things that don't want to be found. Technically, you could argue that both are interchangeable, and for most practical intents and purposes, you're not wrong, but the former has a few extra connotations that don't show up in the literal text, which, if you've been around me or my channel for any length of time, you'll likely have been able to guess is why I've chosen the former over the latter. It's just a helpful side benefit that it's the word more people are familiar with, and so makes for a grabbier title hook also. As far as the quintessential recipe of a ninja is concerned, I've managed to boil it down to 4 fundamental ingredients: perseverance, adaptability, ambiguity, and tribal morality. To sum all these things up as neatly as possible, a ninja is someone whose strongest allegiance is to their clan. To all others, he is an enigmatic, ruthless, tenebrous mercenary. He'll utilize whatever arts, whatever tricks, whatever devices are necessary to achieve his clan's goals and to advance their interests. Intellectually, he is a nomadic hunter-gatherer. He perceives the utility in all forms of thought and action. He takes what he needs and discards whatever he does not. Spiritually, he is a dark warrior monk, a shapeless, formless rogue who passes through the world as he pleases, unbounded by laws or codes, neither possessing nor possessed of material concerns. In a word, the ninja's creed is everything is permitted, nothing is impossible. To partially steal a phrase directly from the Bansen Shuki, essentially the Ninja Bible,
the ninja can do the following things: talk about a province they've never been to, pretend to be friends with a stranger, buy things with gold or silver they don't have, eat food nobody gives, get drunk and go on a drunken spree without drinking alcohol, and learn every kind of art in the world. They have nowhere they cannot go, yet you have nobody to talk with or to unburden toils and dismay. The people of the world around you may not know of your plight and engage you in conversation, but you must answer them without revealing any stress. This is also one of the deceptions of the shinobi.
Here's the part of the equation that nobody talks about, and yet is the foundation of the entire formula, without which the entire notion of a ninja falls apart. To a medieval knight, the concept of chivalry merely described the art of equestrian warfare, which was what differentiated the knight from other forms of soldier. Cheval is French for horse. Cavalerie is a formation of horse-mounted warriors. Therefore, chevalerie is the art or way, Tao, of horsemanship. And so saying that a knight should be chivalrous is like saying a carpenter should be proficient at carpentry. And just as how a carpenter is but an imaginative daydreamer without his tools, a man could only be classed as a knight if he was in possession of the tools of his trade, i.e. armor, a lance, as well as a sword and dagger, and a horse. Preferably a trained horse, as an untrained animal generally won't appreciate being sat on. Just so, a ninja was about as useful as a flash cotton notebook without survival skills, imagination, and a clan of like-minded renegades at his back. Of course, a clan is nothing more than another word meaning community, and as communities are little more than a fistful of leeches feeding on each other without a common set of goals or interests, a ninja clan must be united by a shared code of honor, which, as we discussed last time, simply means the abstract vehicle for gaining prestige and status within the group. And for this, I can think of none better than Miyamoto Musashi's way of strategy, neatly summed up in the following 9 maxims. Do not think dishonestly. The way is in training. Become acquainted with every art. Know the ways of all professions. Distinguish between gain and loss in worldly matters. Develop intuitive judgment and understanding for everything. Perceive those things which cannot be seen. Pay attention, even to trifles, and do nothing which is of no use. Remembering what I mentioned towards the beginning about how all these skills are meant to help you survive in the coming world by cultivating value for yourself and your immediate support network in a way that can't be readily exploited, stolen, or diluted by external groups or forces. To that end, all the classical fields of martial arts, wilderness survival, and so on are more about reducing your dependency on the system rather than increasing your effectiveness within it. For that, you'll need to study up on the finer points of human psychology, manipulation tactics, and exploitable bugs in the social matrix code. For example, just as being top of the heap comes with a myriad of advantages, such as being more or less excused from most normal social expectations and boundaries, there are some often unspoken of trade-offs, such as the simple fact that everyone else, sometimes even including your own mother and/or brothers, are gunning for your throne. Being a nobody also has its advantages, such as being so unremarkable that nobody thinks of you as a threat. Now, for legal reasons, I'm neither advocating for nor endorsing these sorts of malevolent practices. That said, there is always utility in familiarizing yourself with your enemy's ways and his tools, even if you've no intention of actually using them yourself. And you should always retain a certain steely, feral volition within yourself for those times when someone tries to exploit the better parts of your nature for their own benefit. And now I could go on for another 6.5 years, and this actually is a significantly pared-down version of this script, but I decided to fall back on my tried-and-true formula and end this with my own proprietary ninjutsu code, as it were. And with that, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, join up as a member, or go check out my books to support me financially. Be sure to join me over on my alternate channels and social media, also to start putting a chink into YouTube's monopolistic armor. And until next time, stay safe, stay sane, and remember, in all ways and in all circumstances, your most potent and vital tools are the ones between your own ears and at the ends of your own wrists. Peace be upon you.